a Wikividi Documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Kamala Harris. Kamala Devi Harris is an American attorney and politician. She is a member of the Democratic Party. Harris has served as the junior United States Senator from California since 2017. She had previously served as the 32nd Attorney General of California from 2011 to 2017. Born in Oakland, California, Harris is a graduate of Howard University and University of California, Hastings College of the Law. In the 1990s, Harris worked in the San Francisco District Attorney's Office and the City Attorney of San Francisco's office. In 2004, Harris was elected District Attorney of San Francisco. Harris was elected California's Attorney General in 2010 and re-elected in 2014. On November 8, 2016, she defeated Loretta Sanchez in the 2016 Senate election to succeed outgoing Senator Barbara Boxer, becoming California's third female U.S. Senator and the first of Jamaican or Indian descent. Early life and education. Harris was born on October 20, 1964, in Oakland, California, to a Tamil Indian mother, Shyamala Gopalan Harris, and a Jamaican father, Donald Harris. Her mother was a breast cancer researcher, who emigrated from Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India, in 1960, and her father a Stanford University economics professor who emigrated from Jamaica in 1961 for graduate study in economics at University of California, Berkeley. Her name, Kamala, comes from the Sanskrit word for lotus. She was extremely close to her maternal grandfather, P. V. Gopalan, an Indian diplomat, and as a child, she frequently visited her family in Besant Nagar, in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. She has one younger sister, Maya. The family lived in Berkeley, California, where both of Harris' parents attended graduate school. Harris' parents divorced when she was 7, and her mother was granted custody of the children by court-ordered settlement. After the divorce, her mother moved with the children to Montreal, Quebec, Canada, where Shyamala took a position doing research at the Jewish General Hospital and teaching at McGill University. After graduating from Montreal's Westmount High School in Quebec, Harris attended Howard University in Washington, D.C., where she majored in political science and economics. At Howard, Harris was elected to the Liberal Arts Student Council as freshman class representative, was a member of the debate team, and joined the Alpha chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. Harris then returned to California, earning her Juris Doctor from the University of California, Hastings College of the Law. In 1989, she was admitted to the State Bar of California in 1990. Early career. Harris served as a deputy district attorney in Alameda County, California, from 1990 to 1998. Harris says she sought a career in law enforcement because she wanted to be at the table where decisions are made. In 1993, she started dating California Speaker of the Assembly Willie Brown, who introduced her to many powerful individuals in the California and Sacramento political and campaign management establishment. In 2000, San Francisco's elected city attorney, Louise Wren, recruited Harris to join her office, where she was chief of the Community and Neighborhood Division, which oversees civil code enforcement matters. District Attorney of the City and County of San Francisco. After the Faye-Gittlegate scandal, Harris defeated two-term incumbent Terrence Hallinan in the 2003 election to become District Attorney of the City and County of San Francisco. In April 2004, San Francisco Police Department officer Isaac Espinoza was shot and killed in the line of duty. 3 days later, DA Harris announced she would not seek the death penalty, infuriating the San Francisco Police Officers Association. During Officer Espinoza's funeral at St. Mary's Cathedral, U.S. Senator and former San Francisco Mayor Dianne Feinstein rose to the pulpit and called on Harris, who was sitting in the front pew, to secure the death penalty, prompting a standing ovation from the 2,000 uniformed police officers in attendance. Harris still refused. Officer Espinaz's killer was convicted of the murder and sentenced to life in prison. Shortly thereafter, Harris demoted veteran career prosecutor Paul Cummins, the chief assistant to her predecessor, who former Officer Joe O'Sullivan described as the most ethical prosecutor I've met, from the 80-person felony prosecution unit to Harris' former position in the DA's office. As DA, Harris started a program that gives first-time drug dealers the chance to earn a high school diploma and find employment. Over 8 years, the program produced fewer than 300 graduates, but achieved a very low recidivism rate. Harris was re-elected in 2007 when she ran unopposed. In 2009, Harris wrote Smart on Crime, A Career Prosecutor's Plan to Make Us Safer, in which she looked at criminal justice from an economic perspective and attempted to reduce temptation and access for criminals. The book discusses a series of myths surrounding the criminal justice system and presents proposals to reduce and prevent crime. Recognized by the Los Angeles Daily Journal as one of the top 100 lawyers in California, Harris served on the board of the California District Attorneys Association and was vice president of the National District Attorneys Association. She has been outspoken on the need for innovation in public safety, particularly with respect to reducing the recidivism rate in San Francisco. One such program, Back on Track, was signed into law by Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger as a model program for the state. Initially, there were issues with removing illegal immigrants from the program, such as an incident involving Alexander Ezeguirre, who was later arrested for assault. The program was revised to address that concern, barring anyone who could not legally be employed in the United States. Harris also protected informants with the Nuestra Familia prison gang who were engaged in illegal activities including drug trafficking and weapon possession, violent crimes, felons, incarceration, and conviction rate. While Harris was the San Francisco District Attorney, the overall felony conviction rate rose from 52% in 2003 to 67% in 2006, the highest in a decade. There was an 85% conviction rate for homicides, and convictions of drug dealers increased from 56% in 2003 to 74% in 2006. While these statistics represent only trial convictions, Harris also closed many cases via plea bargains. When she took office, she took a special interest in clearing part of the murder caseload from the previous administration. Harris claimed that the records from that administration were less than optimal and worked to get convictions on what she could. That meant that out of the 73 homicide cases backlogged, 32 cases took deals for lesser charges such as manslaughter or took pleas to other crimes such as assault or burglary, while the murder charges were dismissed. However, the San Francisco DA's incarceration rates were among the lowest in the entire state of California, fully 10 times lower than in San Diego County, for example. According to the San Francisco Chronicle, roughly 4 of every 100 arrests resulted in prison terms in San Francisco, compared with 12.8 out of 100 in Alameda County, 14.4 of 100 in Sacramento County, 21 of 100 in San Mateo and Santa Clara counties, 26.6 of 100 in Fresno County, 38.7 of 100 in Los Angeles County and 41 of 100 in San Diego County. Police also noted that lenient sentencing from San Francisco judges also played a role in this. While officers within the SFPD credited Harris with tightening loopholes in bail and drug programs that defendants had exploited in the past, they also accused her of being too deliberate in her prosecution of murder suspects. Additionally, in 2009, San Francisco prosecutors won a lower percentage of their felony jury trials than their counterparts at district attorneys' offices covering the 10 largest cities in California. According to data on case outcomes compiled by officials at the San Francisco Superior Court as well as by other county courts and prosecutors, Harris' at-trial felony conviction rate that year was 76%, down 12 points from the previous year. By contrast, the then most recent recorded statewide average was 83%, according to statistics from the California Judicial Council. In a small sample, a report computed that the conviction rate for felony trials in San Francisco County in the first 3 months of 2010 was just 53%. San Francisco has historically had one of the lowest conviction rates in the state. The county is known for a defendant-friendly jury pool. In 2012, Superior Court Judge Anne Christine Masulo ruled that San Francisco District Attorney Harris' office violated defendants' rights by hiding damaging information about a police crime lab technician, and was indifferent to demands that it account for its failings. Hate crimes and civil rights. As San Francisco District Attorney, Harris created a special hate crimes unit, focusing on hate crimes against LGBT children and teens in schools. She convened a national conference to confront the gay transgender panic defense, which has been used to justify violent hate crimes. Harris supports same-sex marriage in California and opposed both Proposition 22 and Proposition 8. In 2004, the National Urban League honored Harris as a Woman of Power. In 2005, she received the Thurgood Marshall Award from the National Black Prosecutors Association. In her campaign for California Attorney General, she received the endorsements of numerous groups, including Emily's List, California Legislative Black Caucus, Asian American Action Fund, Black Women Organized for Political Action, the National Women's Political Caucus, Mexican American Bar Association, and South Asians for Opportunity. 2010 election. On November 12, 2008, Harris announced her candidacy for California Attorney General. Both of California's United States Senators, Dianne Feinstein and Barbara Boxer, as well as House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, endorsed Harris during the Democratic Party primary. In the June 8, 2010, primary, she was nominated with 33.6% of the vote. Her closest competitors had 15.6% and 15.5% respectively. In her campaign for California Attorney General, Harris received the endorsements of United Farm Workers co-founder Dolores Huerta, United Educators of San Francisco, and San Francisco Firefighters Local 798. She also received the endorsement of Antonio Villaraigosa, Mayor of Los Angeles. In the general election, she faced Los Angeles County District Attorney Steve Cooley. On election night, November 2, 2010, Cooley prematurely declared victory, but many ballots remained uncounted. On November 24, as the count advanced, Harris was leading by more than 55,000 votes, and Cooley conceded. On January 3, 2011, Harris became the first female, Jamaican American, and Indian American Attorney General in California. In 2012, she sent a letter to 100 mobile app developers, asking them to comply with California law with respect to privacy issues. If any developer of an application that could be used by a Californian does not display a privacy policy statement when the application is installed, California law is broken, with a possible fine $2,500 for every download. The law affects any developer anywhere in the world if the app is used by a Californian. At the 2012 Democratic National Convention, Harris gave a primetime speech attacking Mitt Romney. During the second Obama administration, Harris was mentioned as a possible nominee for a seat on the United States Supreme Court if a seat on that court became vacant. In February 2016, The New York Times identified her as a potential U.S. Supreme Court nominee to replace Justice Antonin Scalia. 2014 election. Harris announced her intention to run for re-election in February 2014 and filed paperwork to run on February 12. According to the Office of California's Secretary of State Deborah Bowen, Harris had raised the money for her campaign during the previous year in 2013. On August 13, 2014, Harris announced her endorsement of Betty Yee for California State Controller, calling her one of the state's most knowledgeable and responsible money managers, and said she was proud to endorse her. Yee, in return, sang Harris praises and called her an outstanding elected leader. Harris also endorsed Bonnie DeManis and Sandra Fluke. Harris herself was endorsed by the Sacramento Bee, Los Angeles Daily News, and the Los Angeles Times. On November 4, 2014, Harris was re-elected against Republican Ronald Gold. In September 2014, when U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder announced his intention to step down, it was speculated that Harris might be a potential candidate as the next U.S. Attorney General. Days after Holder's resignation, Harris addressed the speculation in a statement declining any intent to take the office and asserting that she was staying in her position as Attorney General of California. 2 months later, in November 2014, President Barack Obama nominated Loretta Lynch to succeed Holder. On November 10, Harris issued a statement regarding the nomination that approved of Obama's decision, praised Lynch, and reaffirmed her choice to remain working with the California Department of Justice. Housing. When Harris took office, California was still reeling from the effects of the subprime mortgage crisis. Harris participated in the national mortgage settlement against 5 banks: Ally Financial, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Citibank, and Chase. She originally walked off the talks because she believed the deal was too lenient. She later rejoined the talks, securing $12 billion of debt reduction for the state's homeowners and $26 billion overall. Other parts of the funding would go to state housing counseling services and legal help for struggling homeowners, and forgiving the debt of over 23,000 homeowners who agreed to sell their homes for less than the mortgage loan. Later, she introduced the California Homeowners Bill of Rights in the California state legislature. A package of several bills that would give homeowners more options when fighting to keep their home. The bill, which took effect on January 1, 2013, banned the practices of dual tracking and robo-signing. And provided homeowners with a single point of contact at their lending institution. It also gave the California Attorney General more power to investigate and prosecute financial fraud, and to convene special grand juries to prosecute multi-county crimes instead of prosecuting a single crime county by county. The Sacramento Bee reported on one of the first cases of a homeowner using the bill to stop Bank of America from foreclosing on his home. Prison conditions and sentencing reform. After the United States Supreme Court in Brown v. Platter declared California's prisons so overcrowded they inflicted cruel and unusual punishment, Harris fought federal court supervision, explaining, "I have a client, and I don't get to choose my client." After California failed to fully implement the court's order to reduce crowding, and was ordered to implement new parole programs, Lawyers for Harris appealed the decision on grounds that if forced to release these inmates early, prisons would lose an important labor pool. Harris refused to take any position on criminal sentencing reform initiatives Proposition 36 and Proposition 47, arguing it would be improper, because her office prepares the ballot booklets. Former California Attorney General John Van de Kamp considered her explanation baloney. Daniel Larson case. On August 24, 2012, the Los Angeles Times published an editorial calling on Harris to release Daniel Larson from prison. Larson, who was sentenced to 28 years to life under California's three strikes laws for possession of a concealed weapon in 1999, was declared actually innocent by a federal judge in 2009 and ordered released. Evidence in favor of Larson included that of a former chief of police and the actual owner of the knife. Larson's original lawyer, who failed to call a single witness, has since been disbarred. Larson remained in prison because Harris' office objected to his release on the grounds that he missed the deadline to file his writ of habeas corpus. The California Innocence Project, which had taken up Larson's case, said this amounted to a paperwork technicality. The Times editorial stated that if Harris was not willing to release Larson, Governor Jerry Brown should pardon him. In March 2013, Larson was released on bond with the case on appeal by order of Attorney General Harris, on technical grounds. In September 2013, the Ninth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals upheld the ruling, and on January 27, 2014, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office dismissed the charge. Brought to you by Wikividi Documentaries.